These negotiations are continuing in both the plants. There has been absolutely no break in the negotiations. Usually these negotiations, at least my experience of Maruti over the last 30 years, is that they continue for a pretty long time. Not because they must necessarily continue for a long time, but usually the union itself does not want a quick settlement of the wage issues. The reasons, and this is off the record kind of thing, is that firstly, they want to make it appear to the workers that the negotiations and the settlement was reached after prolonged and hard negotiations. If they were resolved in 2 or 3 months, the workers would probably say that you guys never did a good job of negotiation. How can you settle things in 2 or 3 months? So they like to carry on for some time so that they can give evidence that they have worked hard in getting it resolved. Thanks. Secondly, it also has a side benefit that workers get arrears when the settlement actually takes place, and workers all like to get arrears. So for these reasons, the negotiations are continuing. There is really no issue at this point of wage negotiations which could possibly stir any kind of trouble. We've read about this incident between a worker and a supervisor on the 18th, where there's supposed to be some altercation, and the worker in some way manhandled the supervisor, and the worker was placed under suspension, and the union wanted the suspension revoked. Discussions on this matter were continuing. The president of the union was actually in touch with Mr. Siddiqui continuously that afternoon. It so happened that Mr. Siddiqui and Mr. Maitra, supply chain, were actually at my house in Noida that whole afternoon discussing other issues relating to the forthcoming board meeting. And I think at least on 4 occasions, if I am not wrong, the president of the union called Mr. Siddiqui there, and he talked to them in the middle of our talks, explaining to him how it was being done and what was done. And I think they had reached with the president a solution of keeping the suspension under suspension till things got inquired into and the facts emerged. So when Mr. Siddiqui left my house, I think around 5:45 or 6 in that evening, absolutely no inkling that any kind of issue was going to blow up or there was some problem. Nothing. And this was almost at 6 o'clock on that evening when he left my house. I, in the evening, usually go out for a walk as part of my therapy. When I got back from my walk at about 7:30, when you called me? 7:15, 7:30. Mr. Siddiqui called me, there's been a serious incident at Manesar. I'm going and I'm going to call you after that. I was shocked. I said, why serious incident? For what reason? What incident? And then all of this emerged. So that is the background of what has happened.